Hi, this is Tracie Schmidt, mortgage loan officer with Supreme Lending, and I am so happy to be doing this call with Yasmine Austere. I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself. Yasmine, take it away.
Hi, Tracy. I'm so excited to be here today. So, I've been in the real estate industry for about 25, 26 years now, and I'm mainly in the San Francisco East Bay. I love working with buyers and sellers, and even though we've had lots of industry changes, I thrive on always being a little bit ahead of the curve, and I'm really excited to be here today with you to hear more about mortgages and everything you have to offer to our clients.
Absolutely. And that's really what this is for, right? It's for your clients that are out there in the East Bay, San Francisco area, whether you're a buyer or a seller. We do want to give you some information on the market weekly. We're going to ask Yasmine, we're going to put her on the spot and ask her a question for a buyer and a question for a seller. And then I'm going to come up with just a quick product for you to know about that's out there in the market weekly to give you just something to think about if you're, looking to buy or sell a home. You have a family member, coworker, friend. Hopefully, this is going to help you on that journey. So, Yasmin, I'm going to start with you on the question
Oh,
for the buyer, if that's okay. Are you ready?
yeah, that's
Okay.
okay. Yes.
So there are a lot of first-time home buyers out there. How do you help them turn their dreams into a practical plan, right? When you usually meet them, they're probably just starting off and they're so excited, but how do you kind of hone that in and come up with a plan for a first-time home buyer?
Yeah, so I actually have a very customized approach. I don't sit there with a standard checklist that, everybody uses. I typically start out by getting to know the people. What are your wants and needs? Do you have children? Do you have pets? Where do you commute to? Do you work from home? What are you both employed? And just to kind of casually get a better idea of who they are. And once I have established that, I typically go into, so what is your wish list? Where would you like to see yourself? Either, are you ready now? Are you planning to do this in a year? Where are we in the process? And in today's market, most of the time people know where they stand with their finances.
Mhm.
Sometimes, yes, I will bring them to you and say, maybe you take a look at it. But
Yeah.
I think buyers are savvy regardless of being first time home buyers or having bought and listed and done all of the other
Yeah.
stuff. So
Now,
I
how are these appointments usually taking place? Are you meeting them in person? Are you doing them over Zoom? Is it a phone call? What are you open to anything? How do you do that with the buyer?
with buyers, depending on how I meet them, sometimes they are referrals or open houses or relocation clients. So let's say I've never met them. I typically invite them to a Zoom call. We sit there for about 30 to 60 minutes. Sometimes it's a 60-minute conversation and we talk in detail. And, sometimes I talk with the whole family. I mean, it's like, or it's just one person and, they bring in the kids and then I get to hear the dynamic. And then, of course, we try to set up a one-on-one person
Yeah.
or an in-person
Well,
meeting.
the kids make the decision about the backyard or the pool or all the fun things, how many bedrooms and bathrooms they need to have. So it's important to include the whole family in that decision. And
Absolutely.
and I know you do such a great job with your buyers, really understanding what they're looking for. And I have to say, even if you are, considered a savvy buyer, or you've done this before, or you're a first time buyer, getting pre-approved is really important in the market because so much has changed from interest rates to loan programs and down payment assistance options that might be out there. So even if you know that your finances are stellar, it's always good to talk to someone, a mortgage lender like myself that's licensed that can help figure out your maximum payment comfort, your affordability, your buying power. So you're taking them out there to the right home.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I typically do not. People still seem to think, realtors, they just open the door and here we go and we can do everything, else ourselves. But, that's not really my job. My job is to make sure that the finances are in place, that they're needs are met, and bringing everything together, coordinating inspections, repairs, title company, working with you, working with appraisers, and all of that. So it's really, really important to be very close with your realtor and
Yeah.
your lender, so that between the three parties we have a smooth
Yeah.
transaction and a transaction that actually closes.
Absolutely. So let's shift to the seller question. So sellers, right now, you're, of course, the seller wants top dollar for their house. I mean, we know that, right? You've sold homes, I've sold homes. How do you approach pricing in a way that kind of balances the seller's goals and what they want to get from selling their house to the reality of the market? Because that's probably sometimes a tough conversation, right? If the seller wants to be here, but reality is here. So how do you navigate that?
So my approach is typically the three scenarios. Do you want to sell as is? Would you like to do minimal upgrades, updates? Or do you want to go the whole way? So
Okay.
I provide them with the three options during a conversation. And it's again, we have a Zoom meeting or I go in person. Typically, I go to a listing in person to evaluate, where do we stand? I mean, sometimes it's clients I've worked with in the past. So I already know the house and I
Yeah.
can just quickly look at the numbers. But typically, I give options. I'm not a realtor who says, oh, we need to redo everything. And, here you are. I don't care where you get the money. No, there are options. There are
Yeah.
programs that they can join. And then we just together decide, what is realistic. I don't typically take unrealistic expectations or considerations in that.
Yeah, and I think for you, one of the things that you do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you do like a competitive market analysis, right? So when you're
Oh,
meeting with that
absolutely.
client, you're checking the reality of the market and what recent comps are and comparable sales and that's something that you bring with you to that appointment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not typically. I mean, in the beginning, when you first need to establish this relationship, right? And bringing a market analysis to a house that you've never seen on the inside is
Mhm.
something that is really not advisable. You want to establish that wonderful relationship with your clients, and then say, okay, I know the market in my sleep. It's
Mhm.
like I don't need to bring a CMA. If I
You
go
know
to
that East Bay market. That's
I
yours.
do know market. And, of course, I will look at the comps before I go, but the formal presentation or the formal market analysis, I definitely wait until I've seen the house. I know what the seller's expectations are, and then I can actually pull proper comps.
Okay.
If you want to sell as is, I will not pull the comp for a house that has been completely remodeled.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And that's going to lead us to our product for the week
Yes,
because I know right now with lack of inventory, there are sellers that are hesitant to sell because they don't know if there's going to be the house that they're able to buy. Right. So they don't want to be
right,
out of a home. So what I wanted to share with you and with the people that are listening is we have what's called a bridge loan option. And I'm not sure, with that term, it's kind of like there it's either like a buy before you sell, a bridge loan. There's a couple of different terms out there in the market, but what's really unique about this is a seller has the ability to tap into the equity of their existing home and go to a certain percentage of what that home's value is that they are going to end up selling it for and put their house on the market, but take that money out to be able to have it available to purchase a home non-contingent,
right,
which, is always a better offer when you're going non-contingent versus contingent. And the great news about that is we're not hitting the departing residents, we're not hitting that mortgage payment against their overall qualifications. And they have a year in which they could sell that departing home to be able to pay back that bridge loan. So, for people out there, and I don't know if are you running into this with potential sellers right now where that is a fear of theirs, Yasmine?
I've actually done a few bridge loans, and I mean, you are aware of that.
Yeah.
We've done a
Yeah.
few bridge loans,
Yeah.
and it was actually it was a wonderful thing that I could bring to them, because both times, I mean, the first time was the people had just lived in the house, and they, you know, the house was definitely not in any condition that we could sell it because there was so much stuff. So we found a way to sell, well, to purchase a home and then get them into their dream home. And within 2 months, you know, they
Yeah.
paid it back.
Yeah, and
And
the
then the other,
transactions close very,
yeah,
close together and, so you don't have to write that contingent offer of actually finding a buyer for your home and then timing that with the purchase of the new home. So, and it's really easy. I mean, if there's anybody that is thinking about selling and has that fear, there's a quick worksheet, that I'm able to do with you. There, it doesn't cost you anything. It just is able to see, based on what the home is worth that you're selling, what your current mortgage balance is, how much equity you could draw from the home, and then what the new purchase could look like for you, as far as payments and things like that. So that's the product of the week. And so if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Yasmine, for what's the best way? I mean, I know that there's so many different means right now that there's social media and all of this stuff, but what's the best way for someone that's a buyer or a seller to reach you?
you know, for me, it's texting.
Okay.
Texting is for me the best and the fastest because we all live on our phones, and so much do I use it. And, you know, my clients text me, oh, when are we closing? Or when are we meeting? And I can, you know, I wake up in the morning and I can drop a quick text.
Mhm.
Sometimes I do a video message, but
Yeah.
always my phone. I think my
Good.
phone is my best friend.
And
So
you see
texting.
everybody sees your number on the Zoom
But I'll
call.
say it again. It's
Okay.
925-998-9747. And then, of course, my website, if you want to go visit and find out more about what I do, is eastbayrelocations.com.
Awesome. And for me, if you're watching this on desktop, I have this QR code here because it's a way for you to get all of my contact information, just with a quick picture of that. But again, same thing, texting, calling, taking it old school, right? Like having that conversation with someone, understanding their wants and needs. And my cell phone number, I'm not as cool as Yasmine having it next to my name, but just really quick, it's 858-336-5200. And join us. We're going to be meeting next week again on Monday. And then we're going to move to Tuesdays and try to bring you some really valuable market information. I think next week we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates because the election will be over.
Yes.
Talk about what the market's doing in East Bay, and then I have another buyer and seller question that I'm going to challenge you on next week. So I really appreciate you being on the call with me, and
Of course.
yeah, have an amazing week.
Thank you. I look forward to next week.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.